Did you know that one of the biggest upgrades you can make to your hi-fi setup isn't a new DAC, it's not a new amp, and it's not even new speakers. It's simply something that sits under your system. Today we're looking at the AUVA equipment isolators from Stack Audio, a UK-based company focused entirely on vibration control. These promise to reduce unwanted micro vibrations inside your components, without altering your system's sound signature. And after testing some time with my reference setup, I have some very interesting findings to share. Let's get into it. The AUVA EQ isolators use what Stack Audio calls a dual-stage isolation system. First, they use particle impact damping technology. Inside the isolator, microparticles move and absorb vibrational energy. This targets internal microvibrations, the kind that can affect circuits, clocks and mechanical assemblies. Second, there's a custom silicon absorber that decouples the components from the rack or shelf. This reduces external vibration traveling upward from the floor or rack. So you're attacking vibrations from both directions: internally generated vibration and external transfer. They come in different weight optimized versions, and here's how you calculate which model you need. You take the total weight of your component and divide it by the number of isolators you plan to use, typically 4. Then you choose the model whose weight range matches that per foot load. For example, if your component weighs 12 kilograms and you're using 4 isolators, that's 3 kilograms per isolator. You choose the model optimized for that load range. Stack Audio also recommends that if the stock feet are easy to remove, you place the AUVA EQ directly where the original feet were. That preserves the manufacturer's intended weight distribution. If removal isn't easy, you place them as close to the original feet as possible. Build quality is excellent, solid, dense and precision machined. These feel like serious engineering, not accessories. Before we get to the listening impressions, let me walk you through the system I use these on. Technics SL-1200MK7 turntable, Yamaha A-S2200 integrated amplifier, Denon DCD-900NE CD player, Volumio Rivo Plus streamer, Volumio Preciso DAC, Dynaudio Evoke 20 speakers, Solidsteel rack and stands, and SUPRA cabling throughout. I started with my turntable and listened to the entire A-side of Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd from the backstage vinyl set, without the isolators first. Then I installed the AUVA EQs. For this review I placed them near the stock feet instead of removing the originals, so I could easily compare. The difference? The background became quieter, not silent, but cleaner. The space between instruments opened up, transients felt sharper, bass tightened noticeably. There was more focus in the mid-range, guitars had more texture, the soundstage became slightly deeper and more stable. It wasn't a tonal change, it didn't get brighter or warmer, it was just more composed and controlled. Next I moved to the CD player and played the Definitive Collection by Steely Dan, focusing on dirty work and reeling in the ears. Again I listened first without the isolators. After installation, I noticed improved clarity in complex passages. The layering of backing vocals became easier to separate, cymbals sounded cleaner, less smeared. Bass lines were more articulate, especially noticeable in reeling in the ears. The overall impression was improved timing and reduced haze. Mechanical vibration in CD players can affect disc reading accuracy and jitter, and subjectively I felt like timing precision improved. The streamer and DAC are fairly lightweight, so I had to use the included thin rubber discs for stability. With the streamer the difference was more subtle. The presentation felt slightly calmer and more stable. Micro detail retrieval improved a little, but compared to the turntable and CD player, the improvement was not dramatic. Still noticeable, just not transformative. Now here's where things get interesting. The DAC showed the most noticeable improvement of all. The soundstains widened and deepened, low-level detail became more apparent, microdynamics improved significantly. There was more refinement in the treble, smoother but also more extended. Bass gained control and definition. The DAC is where the signal is at its weakest and most vulnerable. Reducing vibration here seems to pay major dividends. For me, this was the standout component in terms of improvement. Installing the CSA200 amplifier was, let's say, a workout. The amp is heavy. In terms of sound quality, the difference was smaller compared to the DAC, turntable and CD player. But it was there. There was a slight improvement in image stability and bass control. The system felt marginally more grounded. And once installed, I would not go back to the stock feed. Even subtle gains matter in a revealing system. Let's start with the negatives, and honestly, there's only one for me. Visually, the AUVA EQ raises your components higher. That slightly changes the look of your system. At first, I had to get used to the increased height and altered proportions on the rack. That's it. In terms of performance, build quality or usability, I have no complaints. On the positive side, the improvements range from subtle to significant, depending on the component. The DAC and turntable benefited the most in my system. Build quality is excellent, installation is straightforward, and the engineering approach makes sense. I can't provide laboratory measurements, but after nearly 40 years in this hobby, I know my system inside out. These impressions come from careful listening in my own room with music I know intimately. And in my system, the Stack Audio AUVA EQ isolators made a clear difference. Not a change in sound signature, but a clear step forward in clarity, control, stability and refinement. If you're serious about extracting the maximum performance from your existing gear, especially your turntable or DAC, proper isolation should not be overlooked. Sometimes the biggest upgrades are not about adding something new, but about removing something unwanted. In this case, vibrations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.